Das Studio damals von Kraftwerk, das war im Hinterhof ein größerer Raum. Das war vielleicht früher mal ein Fabrikraum, könnte ich mir denken. Das war ganz abgeschottet von einem Rolltor, das berühmte Rolltor, glaube ich. Als ich zum ersten Mal dahin kam, da wurde dann plötzlich, ich habe geläutet und dann ging so langsam ein ganz schweres Rolltor auf. Dann ging man da rein, noch durch so einen Gang und dann kam man in diesen Raum, der war ziemlich groß, der war nicht irgendwie getüncht und da standen dann vereinzelt, es stand zum Beispiel ein riesiger Hornlautsprecher, der war selbst gebaut. Ich glaube, der Florian hat das mal gemacht. Oder bauen lassen viel auch. Die haben sich sehr viel bauen lassen von Freunden, die sie da hatten. Dann so, diese Elektroniktrams gab es noch nicht, aber so verschiedene Geräte, die selbst gebaut waren und dann eben auch diese einfachen Synthesizer, die man damals hatte. Der Synthi A war da und dann standen halt diese ganzen, dann war so Ralf und Florian mit Neon, das war alles schön aufgebaut. Ne? Das ist ja auch ziemlich bekannt, glaube ich, diese Schrift aus Neon. Und da hatten sie auch eine Firma, die das extra für sie gemacht hat. Ralf und Florian hatten immer die richtigen Freunde, die genau wussten, wie die Technik beherrschten. Da gehörte dann der Conny auch dazu. Der Conny war wichtig im Studio und das alles perfekt zu machen. Ich nehme an, dass das später genauso gut gemacht wurde, aber damals war Conny für die Aufnahmen doch sehr wichtig. Und Ralf und Florian hatten immer diese bekannten oder Studiomenschen und auch Bastler durchaus, die ihnen diese Technik so hergestellt haben, wie sie das brauchten. Das ging so weit bis zu den Cases, wo die Sachen reintan. Die wurden extra angefertigt, so aus Alu-Behälter, wo man dann zu den Gigs mit diesen Alu-Behältern fuhr. Das war, glaube ich, sehr wichtig auch. Und die elektronischen Geräte eben wurden auch gebaut.
The result of their labours was the album Autobahn. Released in Germany and the UK at the tail end of 1974, it was the last LP that Ralph and Florian would record with producer Conny Plank, and it was the album that catapulted them onto the international stage. At its centre was the title track, a 20-minute opus that took up the whole of the record's first side. The duo would eventually dismiss their first 3 albums, and they chose to reimagine this record as Kraftwerk Year Zero.
The ideal thing was that in Autobahn it really had a subject matter that combined all the ideas they were thinking of. That was the genius thing about it, that all of a sudden they had a subject matter. So far they were these conceptualists were thinking about ideas of how to be an artist or how to be a musician in the pop world with all these visual artists concepts around, but they didn't have a concept matter. They didn't have a subject matter. And then the idea of the Germanness was the next thing, but that was still something that had to be concretized every time in a specific way. And here they had everything together. They had a highly musical subject matter, the road. Then the specific German version of it was this problematic thing, the proverbial achievement of the fascists, that it's always this kind of proverbial talk of the Germans after the Second World War said, yeah, Hitler wasn't so bad after all. He shouldn't have done this with the Jews, but at least he built the Autobahn. That's this kind of... So Autobahn means this too. And then, of course, it's the musical aesthetic of that. Something that takes from minimalism the unfinishedness of music. Music that has a structure that's not saying there's a climax and at one point we come to an end, but it's possibly endless. All this together was a great moment.
Autobahn is, I think Ralph Whitcher has said that he was very much influenced by the Beach Boys, and in this particular case he said that the Beach Boys to him made music that sounded like America, and he wanted a music that sounded like Germany that he was going to make, and it's a kind of tone poem, and it's a very sort of picturesque piece of music, and there was this kind of conscious homage to the Beach Boys. Farn, Farn, Farn. It's like which as in we travel, slightly awkward German, like fun, until Daddy takes the T-bird away. So there's that kind of conscious allusion to the Beach Boys. But what's wonderful about the main piece, and I think that really is the essence of the album, these sort of, over its 17, 18 minutes or whatever, is that you just get this, it's like a sonic transcription of a car journey, from the kind of ignition and setting off, and then kind of bowling sort of nicely along the road, then hitting heavy traffic. It would have seemed perhaps a very odd subject matter to some of the people that had maybe followed sort of Kraftwerk generally, or sort of the alternative German rock scene, for somebody to be kind of offering a hymn of praise for something like a motorway. But Kraftwerk, they do these things with a very, very wry smile. They're probably kind of aware of the kind of hackles they're raising when they do these things, and they kind of pose there looking slightly effeminate and very un-rock and roll. But it's as well as being an exquisite piece of music, it's very cleverly provocative as well.
What was happening with Autobahn was that the actual, before when you heard the sounds, you knew it was coming from a source, and that somebody was trying to make a sound coming from a source, and that's a treated guitar, or that's an oscillator, or that's a keyboard. But with Autobahn, you sort of forgot about what the instruments sound like, and just were more just completely caught up in this motoric melody and this driving motoric rhythm, and then this melody, and then the voice going Autobahn over, and the whole thing gelled into like what we call music, where you actually forget about the instrument and you just listen to the music itself, when you're brought along with the music. I think certainly the first side of Autobahn, they become like really great musicians, but then the second side of Autobahn, for some reason, they go back to experiment, whether these experiments were experiments that were lying around, or stuff that was old stuff that they hadn't finished. But really the second side is probably a side that people don't listen to, because it's going back to the Kraftwerk 1 and 2 experiments. But certainly the first side made them international for the time, pop stars.
Das wesentlichen Punkt hat ja der Conny Plank gespielt, eine wesentliche Rolle, der eigentlich alles gemixt hat und wirklich einzelne Teilchen zusammengesetzt hat, und hinterher wurde dann das Stück draus. Und das war, glaube ich, sogar das letzte Mal, dass Conny das gemacht hat. Und er hat noch zu mir gesagt, er wüsste nicht genau, wie dein Kraftwerk klingt, wenn er das nicht mehr macht. Das war schon sehr wichtig auch.
I'm quite sure that the idea was making a statement on the realm of pop music, but with our German identity. And if you listen closely to the first two records of Ralph and Florian, they really came from this classical angle. That's how I see it. And then they moved towards pop music, of course, by adding lyrics. There's no pop music without lyrics, apparently. And by using the German lyrics and using this word Fahren, which could be understood in the English language as fun. And you had this connection to the Beach Boys, to fun on the Autobahn, and using some of these German idioms like Autobahn and stuff like that, using the picture of the Volkswagen and the Mercedes-Benz, that opened up a new door. And I think that's part of the success of Autobahn, of the first worldwide selling Kraftwerk record, actually.
This articulation of German identity was not only a key ingredient of the track's success abroad, but also restated Kraftwerk's difference to their contemporaries. While the other German bands were keen to distance themselves from their homeland, Kraftwerk's use of lyrics sung in their native tongue would be a real rarity not only on the UK and US charts.
This was novelty in German too, because if you were singing in German, you were immediately part of another tradition of German pop music, the Schlager culture. And the Schlager culture is something that was always right-wing and even worse than right-wing, partly. It was definitely reactionary. So singing in German was politically impossible.